Hello and welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm your host Joe Scorn and I'm joined here by Tony Tones at RT.
Hello, I'm not dead.
I'm not actually joined by him because he's on Discord. He's a
It's all a
skeleton.
lie. Yeah,
Um,
I'm not here. I'm afraid. But I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
not dead.
That's the main thing.
Just something happened with the C word that we can't talk about.
Yeah, if you even mention the C word, just YouTube's just like, yeah, well, we need to put the banner
Fuck
back
this
below
video.
you.
Put a banner underneath it. Didn't we talk about it like last week and nothing happened though? It was like,
Sure, actually.
what was that, like 3 weeks ago though?
Maybe they don't. They were starting to do it then, but not like to everyone. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it scans. Like, I don't know if like people need to watch it.
Well,
People need to talk about it.
if you're wondering why we weren't live last week and you're not Dave,
Yeah.
I was in hospital. I have a dental abscess, so
Oh right.
yeah, I had to go have an emergency medical appointment
Yeah.
at hospital, and I'm still recovering from my face being swollen. So because I
Yeah,
couldn't
that does
talk,
suck. Yeah.
because the infection can spread to the rest of your face, and it makes it horribly swollen and like still hurts when I smile and laugh and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's a very serious podcast this week. No smiling or laughing.
Those frowning's allowed though, right? You
Yeah.
can still frown.
Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty news light this week because of all the stuff that's been cancelled, pretty much.
Yeah, for unknown reasons. They don't know why they've been cancelled.
Like GDC got
We can't.
cancelled.
Yeah.
All the big events got cancelled, so it's very sparse news. Other than stuff got cancelled.
Games have come.
Yeah.
An old game called Doom Eternal. A small game. Small game.
Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing came out.
Yep.
We'll talk about Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing later when I talk about Gamestop, because there's some interesting stuff to say about Gamestop. Half-Life Alyx comes out on Monday, and I have an announcement about Half-Life Alyx. I will not be playing it.
You won't be.
It's fucking bad, man.
Yeah.
My brother lent his VR headset to his friend before the C word took over, and now he's saying that
What an absolute C word.
yeah. And now he's saying he's not going to be able to go and get the headset to play Half-Life Alyx, so it looks like I won't be playing it.
Well, can he get like a mask and like a gas mask and disinfect it and go and pick it up?
I wish. I mean,
That
I would have gone and got it, but I
would
can't.
you?
Yeah. I would have gone into
You'd have risked
coronavirus
it.
to go and get the Half-Life Alyx.
That's a risk worth taking.
Yeah. Apparently, Half-Life Alyx has 300,000 pre-orders already, making it already one of the biggest games of 2020. I can't believe 300,000 people have pre-ordered a VR game. That's crazy. People want to play Half-Life.
Yeah, fucking hell. I don't know, because like, how many of those also like pre-ordered the or got the index?
I assume you get a copy of Half-Life Alyx with the index, so I assume a chunk of them are.
So is that like 3 million like confirmed revenue income?
300 million people own Half-Life Alyx on Steam.
Oh, okay, so that's going back. Yeah, and every single one had to have VR to some extent.
Well, I think I read from Reddit some people are like going to play it on their Oculus headsets. Some people are getting out their Vive. Some people bought the Index, that sort of stuff. Like some people have bought like the cheap Windows mixed reality headsets to play it. So
yeah,
it's gonna suck though because there's gonna be spoilers out on Monday, and it's gonna be really hard to avoid those because I can't play it.
Just don't go online.
I've already heard that somebody took a screenshot of the end of Half-Life Alyx and has posted it online.
That's already out there, is it?
That's already been leaked online. So be careful if you're trying to avoid spoilers. Look out for that. Don't go on social media forever. Live under a rock.
I already do that though.
Yeah, like Patrick from SpongeBob. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do because it's gonna be so hard to avoid spoilers. Like whether it might just be worth watching somebody else play it instead. that way I'll at least get like
Yeah,
some
'cause-
sort of second-hand experience from it. I don't know.
Yeah. Because when would you play it otherwise? When would?
When the C word dies.
Right. Okay. Next year.
Yeah. When that beer company
What?
stops pissing about. Yeah.
Yeah. What they're doing?
I don't know.
Uh,
Anyway, talk about some video game news that we have.
real video game news,
Yeah.
not just.
Me complaining about not being able to play Half-Life
Yeah.
Alyx.
I mean, that is also video game news, but
Anyway,
real news.
Dark has released a free DLC, The Tower. This is pretty cool to see. So if you own Dark, you can play this DLC free. What do you do you remember Dark? Cool.
Is it hang on, is it the Dark I'm thinking? Is it the
It
Dark
was,
I
it was
think
big
it
in the
is?
news because they were like, we got offered a bunch of money from Epic Game Store and we turned them down because we wanted to release on Steam.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of like positive press about that. But it's like this weird little kind of horror puzzle game sort of thing.
Yeah. Is the thing I'm thinking of, yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know, it's kind of interesting to me, but yeah.
We got a trailer for The Last Campfire, Sean Murray's new game. That looks pretty cool. Still not 100% sure what we're doing in The Last Campfire, but it's cool that Hello Games is making Hello Games.
Yeah. It's not just Hello Game. Is that your criticism of
Well, it's like for years Riot Games made one game for
Yeah.
10 years, and now they're making multiple, so you got to put respect back on the S. Any company with an S on the end that only makes one game, you got to call them out.
Okay, I'll do that in the future. I've not been doing that, I'm afraid.
Looks like some sort of RPG kind of Zelda-y kind of game sort of thing from what I'm seeing. It looks pretty fun, like I'm interested to play it. Looks relaxing, looks like it could be fun. We got a trailer for a brand new Amnesia game, Amnesia Rebirth. It looks really good, like the graphics. But I'm just wondering what direction they're actually going to take Amnesia in. Like, I'm not sure. What do you think? Because they had the original Amnesia game, you played as, you know, that what was his name? David or something like that? Daniel?
Daniel, yes.
And you were like, it was very old times, and you were trying to, you had amnesia, and you were trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, because you were invited to a castle.
Yeah, and then you had Machine for Pigs, which was more of like a factory sort of thing, which I didn't play, so I have no idea what that was about. But now we have, because Machine for Pigs was also, the people who made Dear Esther helped make that one, didn't they?
They did.
What Chinese Theatre was their name, I think.
I think that's right.
But this autumn we're getting a new Amnesia game, so it's coming to PS4 and PC.
I kind of like the Amnesia games, to be honest. Like, I didn't really look into the pig one. What's it called?
Machine for Pigs.
Machine for Pigs. But I thought it looked interesting though. But I never actually bothered to look into it. But I did actually watch. I watched Tabasco's play all of the first Amnesia back in the day.
Right.
So.
A new Amnesia game, a new decade of Scream tubers is coming. I hope PewDiePie plays the new Amnesia.
You want old PewDiePie?
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to the next trailer, which I think you have a lot to say about. Stellaris Federations, officially out.
Yeah, I do have a lot to say.
Go on, talk about Stellaris.
Okay. I just clicked the trailer and just started playing very loud.
Turn it up so we can hear it through your microphone. That's the best audio setup we can get.
Right. Federations. Stellaris. Federations.
Yeah.
I'm playing quite a bit. I was trying to figure out how long I'm playing it, but the Steam doesn't actually tell like how much my recent time is. Just my total.
It tells you past 2 weeks.
I
and I assume unless you played Stellaris.
Hours of this already.
How much have you played in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah. How much was in this trailer though?
Because I assume you've only played Federations in the past 2 weeks. Yes, no,
Interesting
maybe.
trailer. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trailer is
Just talk about your
doesn't actually
experience with the
show very much
game.
at all. I guess this is
It's just background. Just talk about your experience with the game.
Looks
Ignore
like
the
today's going
trailer.
to be longer than usual. Yeah.
Come on. I don't know anything about Stellaris. You gotta talk about playing the game.
The idea for the expansion is just that I guess it just mainly is just going to be the space you went and be able to form new federations. I'm not sure.
It's a very different federation.
What else is actually in? Because like there's the update and the actual DLC.
How do they separate the update and the DLC then?
Say. Oh, okay. They added, they added the origins, they added the federations, they added the space UN, they added new diplomatic systems and the envoy system, and they have changed the Empire Sprawl. There we go. Those are the 5 things. Without going to too much details, I want to say that it's pretty good. It does like an entirely new game, and I think I can attest to that by again, I don't actually know, but it's about 20 hours of what I've played.
Right.
I can't actually tell.
Well, I think
Steam
20 hours is enough to say
your recent playtime the last 2 weeks unless you go into the game, I think.
What do you think of the new Federation features so far? Hello?
Okay, that didn't help me at all.
I'm getting long pauses of silence, Tony. I need you to help me here. I'm going to skip past Stellaris Federations unless you say something.
But yeah, I think... How much is this DLC? The DLC itself... I can actually load it up. The DLC itself, I think, adds all of the origins. I don't think you have access to them on the update alone, but the update does add the diplomacy system, does add the base space UN. Federations, however, changes the federation types and adds an extra layer to the space UN. So if you're even more diplomatically inclined, you can be a part of Galactic Council, which gives you the veto powers and allows you to just have more control.
Right.
I can't remember how much this pay this immediately, so I've never actually looked at the price. It's £15.50, or your regional equivalent.
Yeah. All of Paradox has a lot of DLC. Not a lot of people like that.
And I think, and it doesn't say anything else that's added. Origins. I added some new mega structures. Oh, and added a Juggernaut ship. That means you can actually build on the front lines new ships. Cool. And that's about it. But I've also...
Do you know anything about City Skylines?
It's been a long time coming, this update. It's been in the works for 6 months, 7 months sort of thing. Okay. It's been a long ass time. But a lot of systems have to be touched by adding diplomacy to games, or to a game. And yeah, it is entirely different. Being able to actually manipulate diplomatic way is a new thing they've added with envoys, with trading, with military. But it does change how you play massively. And you now can't just go to war willy-nilly. You kind of have to force. There's always been a reputation system between you and another nation, but now you actually have to have a specific standing with them to be able to do anything. You can't just instantly force it like a war. You actually have to start a war. You actually have to be hostile towards them, but you start neutral, so you actually have to put some effort in. So basically, you always know when.
Okay. Do you know anything about the new City Skylines DLC? The Sunset Harbor? There's a new Sunset Harbor DLC for City Skylines that came out, I think, yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
New fishing industry.
I didn't see this.
They're adding.
It's the fishing up, or the fishing
They're adding stuff to the coastline, right?
Yeah,
is what they're doing. So adding way more stuff to that.
Do you know what Michael told me when he told me about this?
What did he say?
They've just added fishing to City Skylines.
That's amazing.
I was like,
Michael,
what?
our resident fisherman.
Yeah, he loves fishing. Okay, Leon. I don't know if this is Leon fact. I guess it is, but he hates fish.
He hates eating fish, or.
Well, yeah, but it goes more than that. He's disgusted by fish.
Like what part? Like them being slimy or something like that?
Yeah, he doesn't like these scales. I don't think. But
what about? Does he like the ocean?
I don't know. It lives by the ocean, I think.
Transport hubs. So you can build bus stations and train stations and stuff. Are they showing off?
Yeah, so that's right. I want to get a good
water treatment and waste management. Another one they're showing off.
But yeah, I think because like adding harbors, adding stuff to the other you add to the water phase skylines is pretty useful.
Right. And this isn't stuff that's been done with mods already, is it? Because it's always hard to tell with City Skylines.
Yes and no. This I think it's going to improve it. Like even with mods, when they add like a new system, like it's always way better for more mods, if that makes sense. Like they normally add new mechanics you can interact with to be able to add new assets.
Right.
Because a couple of years ago they had like an overhaul which changed the terrain stuff, which allowed you to sort of put more stuff on the and do more stuff with water. But then like no one's really done a proper harbor system. In all the maps I've seen, no one's done like a really deep. So I think this is the water side is a part of City Skylines that no one's really touched, in my opinion.
Well, I like the little water filtration. What are they called? Buoyants? What are the things that are on the water with buoyancy called? Anyway, they got these little things on the water. You can you can now plan routes of like boats through the water, which I assume you couldn't do before and stuff.
I just got stuck on that part. I was looking at that. Yeah, something else that actually have ferry routes and like tourist routes and things is going to be really good. Like from the trail, like there's like tons of stuff they've put on the coast or on the shore side, which is gonna, I think going to really. Normally, you can't do anything with it. Like it's a pain in the ass to do stuff like near coastlines.
Right.
So the buildings don't really build properly, and like you run out of space. It's like okay, I just have to stop it here and like, prettify it later. But if you can prettify it and it has a use like with these, I think that's a really good idea.
So they're adding usefulness to the cosmetics of the coast.
Yeah, because that's, in my opinion, City Skylines, there is like some challenge like setting up a city and like dealing with traffic, dealing with like goods in, but it's not. Once you get to a point, you can't really fail.
Right.
And it becomes about making your city still work, but also making it look good.
Right.
But a lot of people also just playing like in creative mode and just like start building. So, but it still has to work in creative mode.
I'm looking at this top 10 mods of the month video, and it's got a spaghetti junction with like 50 cars flying around on it.
Oh yeah.
What's that mod?
So like you can make like your junctions and post them as mods that you can load into the game as like their own assets, which is pretty cool. So if you don't want to like. If you don't want to, I really don't want to like I don't want to like figure out how to put a roundabout here. I just need like a roundabout with 5 in and outs. They just can find it. They go on the workshop and find it.
Cool. It's kind of cool. Mod called Parking Network. If you're interested in downloading that one. Should we move on to quick news?
I
like how you had so much to say about a trailer you've never seen, but you couldn't talk about Federations, a game you've been playing 20 hours of.
I was trying to figure out how long I couldn't remember what was in Federations, what was in the update, and I really wanted to know.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. Overwatch, a new hero, Echo's come out. She's got a jetpack. Yeah. She fires shit at people. She's got laser beams.
The trailers always take like way longer than I expect.
Sorry? What did you say? Danny? Hello? Hello? Danny, I can hear you clicking.
Oh, okay. I see the problem.
What was the problem?
I believe Mike muted would be a
Michael muted.
Thing. You need to not have page down.
Wait, am I muting myself for you? I'm muting myself for you, aren't I? I'm muting myself for you, aren't I?
Yeah, that's when I get like inconsistent feedback. It's just like every now and again, like you're dead.
Oh my god! Oh my god! This is actually the worst podcast so far. Oh my god! This is so fucking scuffed.
Well, yeah, bloody C
Wait, was I
words.
muted the entire Federations thing?
Half of it, yeah.
Because I was shouting at you like you need to talk about
I was
Federations.
like yeah, I was expecting feedback on what I was saying
are...
and then not getting anything.
Okay.
I was like, I'll just continue.
I was like, why the fuck is Tony not listening to me? And then I was like, I'm fucking muted. Oh my god. Okay. There's a new Overwatch hero. Quick news.
Quick
news. Guild Wars 2 is getting another expansion.
Yeah, we have an image, and that's
we have a teaser image. It's called Guild Wars 2, which means there's going to be dragons, because there's a dragon in the logo. Yeah. It's always about some fucking dragon. I have played through the entire Path of Fire expansion now. I'm on like.
Wasn't it great when there was no dragons in it?
You got to fight a god instead of fighting dragons.
Was that more interesting?
You actually get to get Ritlock Brimstone's sword, one of the interesting characters, and go off and fight this giant epic battle against the god of Balthazar of War. So that was pretty cool. I really like the Path of Fire expansion for Guild Wars 2. Heartthorns fucking sucks, don't play it.
Yep.
And hopefully this one can be somewhere in between at least. So, yeah. Do you think you're going to be able to mount up in the new area that they make? Okay. Yeah. Well, sometimes, like with the new WoW expansion, when it comes out, what they do is for the first, few months, you can't use your flying mount, and you just have to walk around to see the environments, and then slowly you unlock the ability to fly.
Okay, so in Guild Wars, when they add a new system, they tend to slowly add them into the new maps, or like I don't know if you noticed, but after like Maguma stuff, that everything had like way more height to it because they knew people could potentially get the ability to glide, especially if they've already played the previous expansion. Because then you don't have to care about fall damage or anything. Because like you can glide, like all Path of Fire maps, you can glide all. Like, it doesn't lock. Whereas the old maps, they lock off gliding and mounts for jumping puzzles.
Right.
Actually, I said we did actually figure out why they lock jumping puzzles off for mounts. They're part of guild missions. Some of the jumping puzzles
and dailies as well.
Yeah, but guild missions are going to be harder.
Puzzles. You do a daily and you get like 2 gold and a bunch of spirit gems. It's like one of the main ways to get gold. I just spent 250 gold on a griffin mount. I was farming that.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I had to go to the underworld. I had to go to heaven and fight a bunch of demons and then collect a lot of keys.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
And at that point I was kind of bored because I'd been just logging in to do dailies and then logging in to just farm mining nodes of iron to make money to get the griffin mount. And I was like, this is so boring. I kind of don't want to play anymore. Like, I think once you get through the personal story of Path of Fire, that's when the content of the game gets kind of boring.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm okay. What I did was once I completed Path of Fire and I had all the mounts, including the Griffin, I had like a new sense of like exploration, so I was able to level up way more characters.
Yeah,
so
but
that was the period where I got every single character.
The problem is, I think the personal story stuff is cool, but then the rest of the content of Guild Wars 2 is so repetitive. It's go to this area, unlock the waypoints, look at the vistas, do some jumping puzzles, go to these points of interest, and it's just the same thing over and over again, and I just don't care. It's so boring.
Yeah. But I just got entranced by the actual movement system of the mounts and things. I just really love that so much. But yeah, I think that's very fair criticism.
I pretty much just wanted to unlock the Griffin mount, and then I was like, right, I'm gonna stop fucking playing because there's like nothing else to do.
Yeah. There's Beetle racing, Joe.
Yeah, Beetle. I can do.
I'm not the Beetle.
Do the shitty personal story that I can't do to unlock the Beetle mount.
You actually can't.
I have no idea, but I don't want to play through like seasons of personal story that I don't care about.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Speaking of good news, Artifact 2, baby. Artifact's coming
It's
back.
back.
It's back, baby. We got an announcement 2 days ago, March 20th. Artifact is going under serious maintenance while it will still be up to play in its current state. Behind the scenes, they're working on it. And I believe there's a quote that Gaben himself called the new version of Artifact, Artifact 2, baby. Here we go. We're going to get Artifact 2.
Perfect.
People, like, I've seen a bunch of pundits saying this is going to be the biggest relaunch of a game ever, and I'm like, did you see the first launch of Artifact? Like, I don't know about that. Like, I think Artifact for me right now is on the similar level as Anthem, where they're trying to try and redesign the game and relaunch that, and I'm like, I'm still not sure it would be any good even if you completely redesign the game. So
you basically have to relaunch the game and reconvince me it's good because there's nothing going for it to begin with.
Apparently, we're going to get more news about Artifact 2 after the launch of Half-Life Alyx, which is their main product right now, which is obviously the more interesting one. So, we got Ratchet and Clank's Doom mod, which adds all the guns from Ratchet and Clank to Doom. I like watching the hammer being thrown and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the wrench from.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was the
Ratchet and Clank. So I love Doom. There's tons of like great Doom mods that you can play. So this is probably the closest we'll get to playing Ratchet and Clank on PC anyway. So I wish Ratchet and Clank isn't stuck in PlayStation hell.
Oof.
Like a Ratchet and Clank game on PC would be so good. It's one of my favorite game franchises of all time. So
what's that
fingers crossed.
Called? It's like the lava lance or something, wasn't it? Or the something lance.
I think this is all the original guns.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
Anyway,
I had to go back and play it at some point.
Halo Combat Evolved, Halo Combat 1 came out of nowhere onto PC. I believe Overwatch had not Overwatch. Apex had their big update, and then out of nowhere, Halo was like, "By the way, we just released Halo 1. Go play it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like it just kind of snuck up. Like they didn't have any real announcement, and they're like, "By the way, Halo 1 is out now."
Yeah, did they accidentally release it on the same day?
I don't think
Apex.
I think Apex is kind of like Halo in a way. I was thinking maybe there was some nefarious stuff where they were trying to steal players away from it, sort of thing.
I guess, but why?
Same player base, maybe, sort of thing.
Yeah, but sure, okay, if that's true, but wouldn't it be better to like do it when no one's playing Apex? Because like it's kind of like, oh, we're still waiting for an update. We're like in between updates.
Basically, I've played through Halo 1 a couple of times now. I've been doing the playlist achievements. I've played through easy, normal, heroic, and then maybe legendary lasso. I'm not sure. I completed Reach on Lasso, but I'm not sure about 1 because there's some levels that are really annoying and I don't like. I found personally, from playing Reach and Halo 1, now I actually prefer Reach a lot more, which is kind of a controversial opinion, I think, because so many people have nostalgia goggles for this game. But I think if you go back and you look at the level design of these two games, that I think Reach is a much better game overall.
I would like the level design of the first game though, looking like the stream that you were doing and I was watching. You know, not Hearthstone Andy play.
The thing I find about the Halo 1 kind of level design is it's very closed off and there's not a lot to do. There's not a lot of options of how to play, whereas Halo Reach has these big open levels where you can do... Like, my favourite level in Halo 1 is 2 Betrayals, because that's a mission that's kind of more like Reach level design, where you can go and you can get Warthogs, you can get Banshees, you can go and get Ghosts, and you can go and you can... And it switches between this big open area to small areas where you have to fight the Flood with shotguns and assault rifles.
I will say I agree with you because like when Reach came out, like people hated Reach, or at least didn't meet expectations. But I think people I don't misunderstood, but like I think underappreciate like the level design of Reach. Because I think it is better than people thought it was when it first. I agree with you on that.
I'm gonna do a full Tangerine. So there will be a Tangerine coming out at some point, hopefully with Halo Andy. I will talk about with him Halo Reach Lasso. and Halo Combat Evolved, and I'll have like a 2-episode both Halo games, and we'll look at them next to each other because they're both Halo games we just played. So kind of maybe directly comparing them 1-to-1. In other news, Halo 2 is now in testing for late this month. So like the speed the Halo games are coming out is really ramping up because Halo Reach was the hardest one to remaster because they didn't have the original source code for it. So that's why like Halo 1 to 4 I think is going to be pretty quick. Okay. So yeah, maybe I'll be talking about Halo 2 soon. So maybe next month.
During the
I've heard Halo 2 is like a really good game, so I'm looking forward to playing Halo 2. So hopefully it's a bit better for me than 1, but we'll see. My personal favorite is Halo 3. From what I've played, I think Halo 3 is like Reach without the downsides.
Wait, so what quickly, I guess, what downsides do you think Reach has then?
I'm not a big fan of how strong the DMR is in Reach.
Right.
I don't really like the armor abilities in Reach. I'm not a big fan of armor abilities. I don't think the story of Reach is that great.
Does the armor abilities actually like affect it massively negative? You could just not use
Brutes
them, right?
got replaced with. So the biggest change between the older Halo games and Reach is Brutes and the Flood are kind of replacing each other. In the original, there's no Brutes because apparently the Covenant didn't send them. Is kind of how they retconned it. And then in Reach you have the big Brutes, but basically the idea of the Brute unit and the Flood unit are high health, zero shield kind of units.
Right.
Whereas the Flood has lots and lots of units, and then the Brutes are very lots of health, big units sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah. I know, I'm just going to have to play through all the Halo games and then figure out where they all stand for me. But I have nostalgia for 3. I think the story is more interesting because you have the Arbiter character. And that makes it really interesting with the Arbiter. Because through like 1 and Reach, it's very much humans versus Covenant. And it's very black and white.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of morally grey characters. Apart from like Guilty Spark, maybe. But then you have like the Arbiter who's helping, he's with the humans, versus the Covenant, and that's kind of like a really interesting story dynamic they have. So, and then you have, because it's always like this 3-faction system, right, where you bring in the humans and the Covenant are at war, and then you have the Flood who are like the evil that they both have to fight, like a zombie force that's going to wipe out the universe. So sometimes they have to work together to, stop this Flood from taking over.
That's the most interesting. Anyway, most interesting aspects.
Quick news. Quick news. Everything was game. So GeForce Now was a streaming service that let you stream games you already owned. Stream them to different devices. Blizzard, Activision was taking all their games off. Bethesda was taking all their games off being streamed on GeForce Now. We've had a comment from Tim Sweeney, and he's from Epic, and they've said that they're going to support GeForce Now streaming with Fortnite and all the Epic Games Store exclusives that want to participate in it. That's pretty cool.
Surely, because you have to already own the game. So I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
How companies can pull out of that.
Like, Blizzard Activision has like a clause where they're like, this game can't be streamed, sort of thing.
Yeah,
is what they're doing.
Fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because surely, if you own a game, surely all you're really doing is, and you have it, because you have to pay for like certain parts of the
if you're
just
uploading it to a server, you own that game, you should be able to edit in any way. You should be able to mod it.
Yeah,
you should be able to do imagine.
And if you install it on a server, that's fine because all you're doing.
Like imagine if you bought a DVD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you played it at 2x speed, and I said you can't do that. You're ruining the original DVD. It's meant to be played at 1x speed. But at that point, what can you even do? Like, you can't just go to somebody's house and say you're on your mobile phone while you're watching the film. That's not my artistic.
I think some directors would want to actually do that though. Like, you joke, but I think some people are that crazy.
Like it was in the news that Netflix was going to add a 2x speed to Netflix for people who wanted to watch stuff at a faster pace. Like I could see myself using that on some things.
Use it to watch Black Lightning.
Oh fuck
Make it
that.
funnier.
Fuck off.
Yeah, but it'd be funnier though.
I don't want to watch Black Lightning on 10 times speed, let alone 2 times speed. That show sucks.
It'd be hilarious.
Dude, there's those terrible TV shows like Green Arrow.
Oh,
what are they called? What CW network shows where they're like there's that level of terrible, and then below it is Black Lightning, and it's just fucking. This is the Black Lightning podcast right now because there's no fucking news and everything's scuffed.
Yeah.
Anyway, Epic Game Store now has a wishlist feature. You can now wishlist things on the Epic Game Store.
That's not okay. How is that such a complicated thing to add? That's so easy.
Well, guess what? They haven't added the option to get an email when email notification about the wishlisted titles, whether they'll go on sale or not. So, yeah.
Right. See, okay.
So you can't get email notifications about your wish list anymore.
I feel like I could do that. Give me a month and I'll implement it.
Go apply to be an Epic team.
No, well, I would love to, but they treat their employees like shit.
Shut the fuck up, Tony. You can't say I would make a wish list feature in like a month when you've been trying to make a soundboard for like 2 years.
Sure, but I've actually been trying.
Okay. Maybe they haven't been trying.
I know. When it gets to the point like, I'll do this, and like I get home from after doing something similar, and I don't want to do it. Like,
all right, everyone's at home because of Movid-17. Steam reached a new concurrent online user record. I think 20 million. I think it went up to 22 million yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
6.2 million of them are currently playing in game. And I think CSGO hit 1 million concurrent players. I think it's the third Steam game to do that, with Dota 2 and PUBG, I believe. So, but I will no longer be talking about arbitrary numbers because they're just going to keep going up as the pandemic keeps moving. So that's more people playing games. Have you seen have you seen like people complaining about gamers saying they're destroying people's bandwidth for like
Wait, what?
Well, because everyone's working at home, right?
Yeah.
And some people are complaining that gamers are like destroying the bandwidth for internet providers for people who need to do like video conferencing and stuff.
I don't think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because games don't require that much bandwidth once you have them installed.
Well, we saw Netflix and Amazon reduced their streaming bitrate quality by 25% because of the European Commission. They asked them to reduce resolution, I think, but they said no Omegalol. And they said they won't, they'll let people still stream in 4K. But they're going to reduce the bit. If you don't know what bitrate is, like if you're watching this stream right now and you can see pixels, it's probably because the bitrate's too low. Like bitrate is basically like how many pixels get delivered to you, how many bits get delivered to you. So
yeah,
but the resolution will stay the same. Anyway, Platinum Games.
You need to have the resolution correct, so you can't select the correct screen. So it's kind of important you keep that.
Platinum Games is developing its own engine, the Platinum Engine. So Platinum Games Platinum Engine from Platinum Games Inc.
What were they using before?
I think they were using their own kind of proprietary engine, but this is their like coming out and saying now we're like fully developed it and it's like a full real engine sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a new in-house engine to drive all of their creations are going to be unified under one engine now, sort of thing.
Just like Windows.
Resident Evil 3 Raccoon City demo is now available. We will be doing a spotlight on this at some point soon, fingers crossed. And I believe you can play it as long as you want. It's not the 30-shot one-shot demo that Resident Evil 2 was.
Yeah, it's like a proper demo that has a beginning and end instead of just keep playing. And
yeah, so I'm going to get my ass kicked by Nemesis soon, TM.
Good luck.
Steam added a new feature called Steam News Hub. If you haven't checked this out, I've been using this quite a bit. It's very useful. You can select what type of stuff you want to see on the News Hub, where you want to see it from. I currently have it from games I'm following and games that I
Yeah.
I should have that one too. There we go. So I have I'm following games in my library, games that I'm following on Steam, and then information about Steam, change the Steam platform sort of thing.
Right.
So if you've noticed the new Steam UI redesign, there was like a hub, there was like a line at the top of your games that told you about all the fixes for your new games and stuff. And I was using that all the time. It was super fucking useful. So having like a dedicated page that I can edit it is pretty useful.
Okay. I'm actually to look at it properly, so I need to
check out the Steam News Hub.
Yeah.
And then, because I don't really care about events or live streams or that sort of stuff, but like content update, releases, news, sales, I want to know all about that stuff. And like, let's say for example, say like, oh, Lara Croft in the Temple of Osiris. I have that in my library, right? Sometimes you have a game in your Steam library, but you don't want to know about the updates, right? You can right click on it and you can hide sales post. You can mute the game. You can ignore the game.
That's pretty good.
That's what I can say. Yeah, I don't want to know about that. I don't really care. And then it just gets rid of it from you. So, like for example, me, I'll get updates about Dota 2, but I don't play Dota 2. I have played Dota 2, but it's in my game library because it's free to play and I've played it, right? So I just muted Dota 2, and now I don't get any news updates about Dota 2. So it's it's basically a news hub that's fully customizable.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
did not realize that was
it's pretty fucking cool. I like it. I think it's cool. And yeah, it's really useful. We got an announcement of DirectX 12 Ultimate. So if you don't know, basically what this is it's NVIDIA and Microsoft working together, and they're making a base for working off to add DirectX ray tracing, VRS, and mesh shading directly to games. So basically what this means for the developers is it's going to be way easier for them to add ray tracing to games.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a standard thing they can call up to do it instead.
Why they didn't call it DirectX 13 or something like that, I'm not sure. It's called DirectX 12 Ultimate. So
because they haven't changed the code base, they're just adding to the original. They only changed the number when it's completely different. Yeah. I don't know why they went, because we had like DirectX 9, right, and then like DirectX 10. Then I don't remember 11.
11 was a thing. I remember that.
That was a thing. Okay. Yeah. They didn't printing it properly.
The DirectX 12 is the DirectX 12 Ultimate's the big push for ray tracing, VRS meshing. I hope there's more of a push for dynamic resolution scaling. That's a feature I really like to see.
Yeah.
We have dynamic resolution scaling in Doom Eternal now, which just came out. Can I say the id? So if you don't know, Doom 2016 was id Tech 6 engine. We've just got the id Tech 7 engine for Doom Eternal, and it's super fucking good. So
they don't license that out to anyone either, do they?
No, but I think they make their proprietary games in it. I think like Wolfenstein and stuff are made in the id Tech engine.
I just wonder how much money would they make if they like license it out like a Unreal.
It'd be interesting. It's a very, very powerful engine, so it'd be very interesting to see what a different developer could do with it.
Yeah, it's just a shame they haven't done that.
There's a new Hearthstone expansion. I wouldn't be talking about this other than Hearthstone Andy, aka Halo Andy, told me that they're adding a new class to the game. So basically, they've said for the longest time, 9 classes is the only way we can balance Hearthstone, and now they're going, no, 10 classes is the only Hearthstone.
Right.
So they're adding the Demon Hunter class. Illidan is going to be the hero. If you remember, Illidan was a card. He wasn't a very good card, but he was a card.
Oh, was he shit, was he?
The first thing I saw when I watched the trailer for this is they're adding a card that gives you charge. And then I looked at that and then I was like, didn't they say for the longest time that charge was ruining the game and they were replacing charge with rush? If you don't know, charge lets you... it's like haste in Magic the Gathering, right? You can immediately attack. And it was kind of ruining a lot of card design because if you had like a cheap charge card, you put buffs on it and it was just making aggro decks way too strong or combo decks way too strong where you could just rush straight at someone and you could just charge at someone and immediately kill them. So they made rush instead, which means it could immediately attack, but it can only immediately attack minions and not face.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
And the big meme that people are making about Demon Hunter is that it has a card that lets you ignore taunt, so you go face.
Okay.
So it seems like Demon Hunters is a very aggressively featured expansion. I haven't played Hearthstone in I think the video I made about rating Hearthstone cards was 3 years ago or something. That was the last time I played it. Kobolds and Catacombs.
Okay.
And I'm not planning on going back because the game, I'm not interested in the game and it's too expensive. So I just thought it was interesting that a lot of people have left Blizzard now. Obviously everyone at Blizzard got fired. Ben Brode has his own company now. So, because the old developers would have said, charge mechanics ruin the game design, and now it seems like there's new developers come in and they're going well, we're going to try something. We're going to try charge again and see what happens, sort of thing. Interesting thing. Apparently, a new Witcher game will come out immediately after Cyberpunk is released, or a new Witcher game will begin development after Cyberpunk.
Right.
Sorry, I worded that poorly. So it seems like if you work at CD Projekt Red, you're going to be crunched until Cyberpunk comes out, and then as soon as that's finished, they'll get the whip back out, and you'll be making The Witcher 4.
I get there's normally there's normally less crunch we start something though,
but that's good news for CJ Projekt Red fans. Get to play Cyberpunk, and then immediately, they'll start working on another Witcher game. So interesting to see. Steam's doing a demo festival. This is really fucking cool to see. I didn't think they would do something like this, but this is really, really cool. We're on to quick news, by the way, which is slightly different from quick news.
Yeah. Completely different.
So if you haven't checked out the Game Festival Spring Edition, they have over, I think it's 50 demos of upcoming games on Steam, including Superliminal, the Epic Games Store exclusive that's coming to Steam later this year. I have played a few of them, so there might be some Tangerine or spotlights on them. Ones I recommend are Superliminal. Going Under is probably one of my favorite demos I've played, so I highly recommend Going Under if you haven't played that. You said you wanted to play 100 Days Winemaking Simulator. No idea if that game's any good, but try out the demo. I think it's ending soon. Because it's until March 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. So
the demos still be available, or are they just going to be gone?
No, the demos are only available for 4 days, and it started 3 days ago. So we will be making some videos about these. If you want to check out the demos, get on them now. Otherwise, they're going to be gone.
Forever hold.
But it's cool to see, it's super cool to see a demo festival. I love demos. I wish demos would come back and be a big thing. So that's pretty cool to see. We got a really fucking boring PS5 live stream this week. There was a guy talking very dryly just about specs about the PS5, and basically it's pretty similar to the GPU and CPU power of the Xbox Series X. AMD Zen 2 architecture, AMD GPU with a couple less teraflops. They're both going to be NVMe SSDs, which is big because for the longest time consoles hadn't had SSDs. Up to 8K support, which who the fuck is playing 8K on a console? I don't know.
Do you reckon the fact that SSDs are so easy to get for laptop OEMs that it's just so many SSDs for consoles now?
I'm surprised they went straight from hard drives to NVMe SSDs, like the M.2 SSDs.
But what I'm saying, all the laptops use tiny NVMe SSDs. I reckon that's the reason why it's so prevalent.
They're both going for the AMD technology, which makes sense because it's a lot cheaper than Nvidia and Intel. So, and AMD's doing great things with technology. So really cool to see AMD in these very powerful machines. And if you're a PC gamer and you're sitting there saying, why do I give a shit about this? This is going to make your PC games better because the baseline is going to be better for consoles. So always good to see brand new, very powerful console hardware.
It means that even if it's a bad PC port, it'll at least be better from the ground, or better from the foundation.
Call of Duty is very popular. It released Warzone, a free-to-play standalone battle royale game for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. 15 million players, I think it had last week. When it like a couple days ago when it released. Oh, a couple days ago. I think it's been out a week now. So I think that number's gone up even more.
Is it just Call of Duty Warzone, or is it Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone?
It's set in the Modern Warfare universe, so it's not like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was set in the Advanced Warfare, kind of futuristic. This is more like Modern Warfare, like Times Now kind of guns, kind of a bit more realistic sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first ever free-to-play Call of Duty game ever. If you're thinking about playing this, get your hard drive ready because it is 80 gigabytes of space. Yeah, you have to download the entire Call of Duty game, which is like 80 to 100 gigabytes. So, yeah. And they just added a solo. So if you don't know, Call of Duty Warzone is trios, and it's trios, and it has a really interesting respawn system. I'll probably do a Tangerine on this soon. I don't want to go too in depth because I think I've got to wrap up soon.
We've only been going for 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We've only got through the quick news in 50 minutes.
Yeah, so speeding through these.
Yeah, but Call of Duty Warzone is actually really fun, and I would highly recommend playing this game.
There's like tons of people playing immediately, which
I'll talk more about
crazy.
That on a Tangerine.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear, Death Stranding is launching on Steam in the Epic Games Store on June 2nd, 2020. The PC version edition features photo mode, high-res frame rate, ultra-wide monitor support, and content from Valve's Half-Life. So you can now have a head crab on your Norman Reese.
Wait, so is that a reason? I assume the Epic version won't have that.
I don't know. Maybe it's just for the Steam version.
I got you've written here like, I have content for Valve's Half-Life and the Novo. Another positive.
Another feature of the PC version will have de novo on it. So you're gonna have annoying DRM for a year on Death Stranding on PC.
Do you think they could add that just to the box? It comes with de novo. That's a quality feature.
And also, we mentioned, I don't know if we mentioned it because it's been a while since the podcast, but Horizon Zero Dawn officially coming to PC. Will support ultra wide, but not FOV scaling. The developers have said, we feel that changing the FOV compromises the original Horizon Zero Dawn experience and visual style too much, so you will not be able to change this.
Right, I'm going to say that is fuck off. That's irrelevant.
But that really confuses me because if you can't change the FOV, how are you supposed to do ultra-wide support?
Yeah.
Like, with ultra-wide support, you're going to need a big FOV?
I don't know what the fuck they're on about. That has nothing to do with the artistic vision. Like, if you're doing a horror game, I can sort of understand, but I still would say fuck off.
Right.
This has nothing to do with anything.
You want to talk about medieval engineers? I just wrote down medieval engineers is dead. Medieval engineers has ended development with one final small update that just fixed bug fixes. But go on, talk about medieval engineers.
Right. So, I need to write the time. I forget what I'm talking about. Space Engineers timestamp. Okay. You remember a small game called Space Engineers? It came out in alpha, in 2013.
I remember that game. I own that game.
2013 or 2014, like the very first thing. So about a year and a half went by, and right, we've now also released Medieval Engineer.
Yeah.
And its real claim to fame that actually had NPCs you could interact with and like a siege sort of like you could build like a trebuchet.
Well, the main feature of Space Engineers and Medieval Engineers was the destruction physics. I think was
it's exactly the same engine, but they added more different features. So, for example, it starts off a lot like Minecraft in Medieval Engineers, that you have to have a pickaxe, go mining and things. And I honestly wish they added some sort of system, like you could start with absolutely nothing in space.
So the thing is, it always seemed like the progression system in Medieval Engineers was a lot more straightforward than the survival mode in Space Engineers sort of thing. That was a big strength of the game.
They did pull some things from medieval engineers and space engineers, but like it's few and far between. Like, and for ages, like everyone I watched was like, I wish they added some of these mechanics from medieval engineers into space engineers and kind of just unified it in some sense. Because like you could build like really cool and like, really high detailed like wall blocks, which is really cool.
Right.
And it's like it wouldn't you could like I don't see why you couldn't build that in space engineers. Yes, it's not spacey, but like why couldn't I build like a cottage house on a planet and like have like a landing platform for like a high tech sports car?
Yeah.
Like why I could that not that'd be really cool. Like go full Minecraft and just like incorporate everything. But yeah, but then Medieval Engineered then didn't have an update for like 2 years. Like they had updated it.
The last major update they released was February 2019, which was a year ago. So
yeah, and before that they didn't really touch it for another 2 years. So they haven't touched it. They never did anything with it. It never really had any sales. I never bought it because like I was waiting for it to be a proper game, and it looks like it never will be a proper game because it's been kicked out the door with a. We fixed some bugs.
They did a small bug fix. This is 1.0. We finished development of the game.
Yeah, I praised King Software last year because they released Space Engineers properly last year, and they actually brought out a big update for it.
This is the ugly. This is the ugly stepdaughter of the Space Engineers devs.
Well, they've only got. Okay, I was gonna say they had 2 games. That's not actually true. Yeah, you say that, but they actually got a history of like abandoning their projects. Like their previous game was abandoned completely. So
yeah, I'm not sure about this development company that makes Space Engineers.
It's a bit dubious, so
yeah, seem a bit Pete Molyneux-esque.
Yeah, to some extent, they are very good software engineers. They're very good at making a base engine. I will give them that, but I'm not entirely convinced of their marketing strategy or their business.
Let's talk about GameStop and wrap this up.
Oh, actually, yeah, absolutely. You'd say it's a critical.
GameStop have managed to pull Reggie out of retirement. He retired from Nintendo and he joined GameStop's board of directors. They've hired like a bunch of big CEO kind of guys to try and save GameStop from collapsing. Basically, I think they hired like maybe the Walmart CEO as well.
Okay, legitimately, how does hiring these hired people help?
Because they think that they're going to somehow stop the declining physical video game media business.
So it's more of like a PR thing to some extent. They're not expecting to like pull miracles.
Well, these people have run extremely successful companies. Like look at Nintendo and how they don't. I think it's safe to say Nintendo don't play by the rules, and they still are incredibly successful.
That's fine, but I don't go. Yeah, that was all Reggie. Yes, get Reggie on board. All Reggie.
I mean, he's like a public face. Like it's good, even if he's just a figurehead. That's good for the company.
But it's not enough just to get that. You have to like completely change the way you operate.
Yeah, let's have a look. 2 others. William Simon and James Summock, the CEO of Walmart and the CEO and president of PetSmart. Maybe we'll start selling some gamer pets at GameStop. I'm not sure if that's helping, but GameStop has actually so what they would so you know, I was talking about Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing earlier. They said they were going to be selling Doom Eternal a day early than everyone else in order to help with the virus. And
how does that help?
No, it felt like it just would have made more people go to GameStop in order to get Doom Eternal early. Because I believe it was coming out on the same day as Animal Crossing, so it was good if they got to sell them on different days.
Yeah, but it's regardless of what you do, like you don't want people to go because like everyone's going to like queue up, and like that's the worst thing you can do. And like you already have a problem of young people like
pretty
ignoring
stupid.
The self-isolation. Like, oh, I won't get sick. Like, but yeah, that's not the fucking.
Anyway, well, in more stupid news for GameStop, GameStop instructed all of its employees to ignore law enforcement and not shut down, despite the government telling them that only essential businesses could stay open.
And they would say, oh, it's fine because we're going to bring hand sanitizer everywhere. They didn't do a single thing about hand sanitizer.
GameStop have said we can stay open during lockdowns because we're essential retail, apparently.
Yeah, agreed.
But that didn't last long because eventually they shut down all their stores in California and eventually they shut down all of the GameStop's stores to customers. So seems like despite wanting to try and make a buck off the virus, shutting down all of the stores and trying to sell Doom Eternal early, they haven't been able to stay open because GameStop is not a essential business.
I don't think they convinced anyone other than themselves that they were a essential business, right?
Yeah. Pretty interesting to see like this last-ditch effort as the collapse of physical video game media tries to try and stay alive. Just kind of funny that the way they went about it, trying to claim they were essential business. Apparently, everyone at GameStop, now that it's closed, has been told to use sick days or get fired, basically.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the time that GameStop's closed, they will not be compensating anyone. They have to use, if they have sick days, they have to use those to try and keep their job at GameStop. And if they don't,
I think
they're just going to get fired.
I realize you can't just do this, but it's a shame that you can't, because I would just like let them just leave all at once, because that would really fuck.
Go on, they probably should do a strike or a union or
they
something.
They should, but they can't because they need their money. I would do something like that because I'm reckless. And
I'm going to read a Peter Molyneux tweet. He's got a picture of a chocolate bar crunch, and he said, I asked my partner to pick up some chocolate to cheer up the studio tomorrow. She purchased a box of these. I'm stressed. Would it be in bad taste to leave one of these bars on everyone's desk tomorrow morning? A bar of crunch? Crunch is always 100% real. So, Peter Molyneux hiding out the crunch bars in this time of panic and games needing to be crunched, worked on to get released. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast and everything in between. Podcast on YouTube, twitch.tv/Scorn on Twitch if you want to watch live, at Scorn1000 on Twitter.
Before we go, there was the joke of it's not because of the C word why we're not together. It's just that we break out into fisticuffs. That's
basically the reason me and Tony aren't in the same room is because every time off camera we're always getting into physical altercations. Always getting in punch-ups.
That's the real reason.
Creative differences.
Yeah, administrative
I'd like to
errors.
apologise to everyone for the quality of the podcast this week. There was issues on my end, issues with the world, issues with everything, but hopefully it'll be better next week. We'll have more practice. That's the end.
I internet once as well. It's always good.
That's the end. Goodbye.
Bye.